Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movies entitled Long Gone Heroes. Let's get straight into the storyline. At the beginning of the story, a journalist named Julia is interviewing a man called Mr. Torres. Julia asks him what is happening in his country. Mr. Torres explains that many people in his country are starving, and some are dying in the streets because they don't have enough food for their families. He says the prices of things have gone up a lot, and inflation has reached 1,200%. He also mentions that both the former President Chavez and the current President Maduro have made deals that hurt their country by giving away their resources to foreigners. Torres adds that the discovery of oil in Venezuela has only made things worse. Even though America put sanctions on Venezuela in 2017, it didn't change much. In fact, oil production and exports increased. Torres believes the sanctions are just an excuse to raise the price of oil, and an American company called Keystone Oil is still working in Venezuela. To protect this company, they teamed up with a private group that controls land in Venezuela. This group is led by General Roman, and their connections to the U.S. are helped by Senator Olivia Peterson. After hearing this, Julia looks down because Senator Olivia is actually her mother.
Can you confirm this?
A través de los documentos que le envié anoche. Ahí está todo.
The scene then moves to California, where a former Special Forces officer named Gunner is watching the news. Senator Olivia is on TV giving a speech about how worried she is about what's happening in Venezuela. She explains that the country's economy is getting worse and crimes, especially against women, are increasing. She also reveals that President Maduro has made alliances with dangerous groups like the cartels. When Gunner went down to his garage, he found Olivia already there.
What are you doing in my garage, Olivia?
At that time, Olivia, his sister-in-law, brought terrible news. Julia, his niece, had been kidnapped in Venezuela. Hearing this, Gunner immediately felt worried and knew he couldn't just sit around.
They got my baby.
Who?
He quickly contacted his two old friends, West and Maddie, who were also former Special Forces. Gunner explained the serious situation and told them that they had to step in to rescue Julia.
I gotta go get her.
Who took her?
I don't know yet.
And where's she at?
Venezuela.
Fuck, bro.
Next, Gunner met with his ex-wife, who shared important information about an American private contractor working in Venezuela. The contractor's owner was General Roman, a powerful figure in the area, and his assistant Morel helped him. When Gunner saw Moreau's picture, he was shocked because he recognized him from the past. At that moment, Gunner started to suspect that Roman and Moreau might be the ones who kidnapped Julia. His suspicion grew stronger because Julia had plans to reveal a big scandal about oil deals between the Venezuelan government and Keystone Oil, a company that worked with Roman's group. Gunner realized that they weren't just up against kidnappers, but a much bigger dangerous network that would do anything to protect their secrets. Next, Gunner meets with Olivia and asks why she didn't tell him earlier that Roman was the one who kidnapped Julia. It turns out Gunner had a past conflict with Roman and Moreau, which left him with 3 gunshot wounds to his stomach. Olivia then admits that she is involved in a conspiracy with the American and Venezuelan governments to sell oil, and Roman's company is a part of it.
What did you do?
I set up a deal with Keystone Oil. We export through Panama and then...
That's a lot of money.
It is that. Come on, man, for Julia. For your brother Jim.
Hey, I don't need you to convince me to go save my niece's life.
Just get our girl.
Afterward, Gunner meets his old friends, and they are all shocked to learn that Roman is behind Julia's kidnapping. They knew Roman from their time in Kandahar, Afghanistan, where they had a conflict with him. They also knew Moreau, Roman's right-hand man, because they had served together in the same place. To plan Julia's rescue, Gunner tells them he has a contact in Venezuela named El Guapo, who was part of the field troops there. Gunner had already reached out to El Guapo, and he would be waiting for them. In the next part, they meet with another friend, David, who is an expert in computers and satellites. They invite David to join the mission, and he agrees to help.
Same gig, different place. It's a civilian extraction, be in and out. Win, get your stuff. We'll meet you out front.
They then head to Venezuela and land safely. Soon after, they continue their journey through a thick forest. Once they arrive, Gunnar asks David to enter the coordinates to find El Guapo's location. After checking, David finds that the meeting point is 4 kilometers to the north.
All right, let's fucking move.
Along the way, they saw human bones and skulls stuck to tree trunks.
We're almost there. Keep moving.
The next day, after walking through the forest, they arrived at the meeting point with El Guapo. But instead of a safe place, they found signs of a terrible massacre. Many people in the house had been killed by gunshots. Among the dead, Gunnar recognized his friend El Guapo, who had been waiting for him. Gunnar asked El Guapo what happened.
What the fuck happened here, man?
El Guapo explained that it was Moro, Roman's right-hand man, who was responsible. The people who were killed were the family and guards of the vice president of the Venezuelan petrol company. They were targeted because they had a conflict with Roman's company. El Guapo also told Gunnar that Julia had been captured by rebels working with Roman, and she was being held at the Keystone Oil Company's site.
We're taking her to the Keystone site.
After telling them this, El Guapo urged them to go there. Meanwhile, Julia was being held by Roman, with Moro also present.
Sometimes you're lucky. Sometimes you're not.
Shortly after, Roman took Julia's phone and ordered her to unlock the video of her interview with Mr. Torres.
There is a video on this phone. I need you to unlock it.
Julia refused. To make her cooperate, Roman brought in an illegal immigrant they had caught and threatened to kill him if she didn't unlock the video. Julia still refused, thinking Roman was bluffing.
Ego?
But then Roman's men brought in a mother and her baby. With this bigger threat, Roman pressured Julia again.
Look who's over there. Ego.
Finally, feeling forced, Julia agreed to do what Roman asked. Back to Gunnar. He and his team finally reached their target. As they got closer, they checked the workers' houses but found them empty. Gunnar then asked West, Maddie, and David to keep an eye on the enemy from a higher spot, while Gunnar and Guapo would move closer to the main area. From above, West counted the number of enemies and gave Gunnar the report. After hearing it, Gunnar asked Maddie to join him.
I counted 11 outside. No activity indoors, 2 north side behind the...
Using their skills, they launched an attack and successfully took down the enemies. However, a new problem came up when Julia refused to leave without the other prisoners. Julia strongly believed that no one should be left behind, and she insisted that she would only go with Gunnar if they rescued everyone. This made the situation even more tense because they all knew they didn't have much time, and every second that passed was a bigger risk. With no other choice, David and the team had to come up with a new plan to save all the prisoners. They brainstormed different ideas, hoping to find a way that would keep both Julia and the prisoners safe before the enemy figured out their plan and things got worse. David then double-checked the safe escape route, knowing it was important to plan every step carefully. He realized they had a tough journey ahead, which was a 20-hour trek through dense forests and steep hills full of dangers. After discussing with the team, David made sure everyone understood the route and what to do to avoid any threats. With their plans set and spirits high, they began their long journey. The next part shows Moro arriving at the scene and finding a bullet casing left by Gunnar.
Fucking Gunnar.
Right away, Moro reports this to Roman. He explains that the bullet has a special tip, and Moro recognizes who made it. It was Gunnar's bullet. Because of this, Moro decides to send all his troops to track Gunnar down. Meanwhile, during the day, Gunnar and his team stop by a river to rest before continuing their journey through the jungle and hills.
Come on.
By the afternoon, they reach their destination and are welcomed with thanks by the villagers they had helped. One of the men in the village, Lewis, offers to assist Gunnar and his team. He tells them he knows a boat owner near Caracas who can help them escape the country. Grateful for the help, they agreed to Lewis's offer and leave in a minivan he provides. At the same time, Moreau and his soldiers arrive at the camp that Gunner and his team left behind. With guns pointed at the locals, Moreau demands to know where Gunner and his team went. When one man refuses to answer, Moreau shoots a woman as a threat to make them talk.
No? Huh. You see that? The next one goes into the baby.
That night, during a tense journey, David worked hard to recover the video of Julia's interview with Mr. Torres that Roman had deleted. Using his IT and satellite skills, David focused carefully, trying to bring back the lost video. After working for a while, David finally managed to recover the recording, but when he watched it, he was shocked by what he saw. In the video, it showed that Roman and Moreau had killed Mr. Torres and captured Julia. This was huge evidence that could ruin Roman's reputation. It became clear that Roman was trying to erase any proof of his crime, making this video very important for David and his team in their mission to free Julia and reveal the truth. Soon after, Lewis took them to an inn. At first, Gunner didn't want to stop because he wanted to get to Caracas quickly to catch a boat. But Lewis explained that the city was in the middle of a war that night, and it would be safer to stay overnight. For their safety, Gunner and his team agreed to stay at the inn. While they were fast asleep, they were suddenly attacked.
Let's go!
Luckily, most of them escaped, but Maddie wasn't as fortunate and got captured. Not long after, Roman and Moreau came to see Maddie. Moreau greeted him with a sarcastic tone, acting like it was a reunion. There, Roman demanded that Maddie reveal where Gunner and the others were heading, but Maddie refused to give up any information.
I got nothing to give you, sir.
Shortly after, one of Roman's men reported that they had spotted Gunner and his team moving toward the beach. Upon hearing this, Roman ordered Maddie to be executed. Meanwhile, Gunner and his team kept moving and arrived at a night market. At that time, West asked Gunner what happened to Maddie, and Gunner told him that Maddie had left.
Maddie's gone, brother.
Gunner then handed Julia a gun and told the group to keep moving.
You remember how to use this? You sure?
Yes.
All right, good girl.
They planned to meet again near the river, so they split up and continued on their own paths. A little while later, someone spotted them and reported their location to Moreau's men. Soon after, Moreau's men and local soldiers arrived at the night market. Gunner and his team hid when they saw the enemy searching for them, but then the enemy spotted Gunner and started shooting, leading to a gunfight. The next morning, Moreau's men were waiting in their car, expecting Gunner to show up, but they didn't know that Gunner was watching them from a distance. Suddenly, he threw a grenade under their car, causing an explosion. After that, Gunner fired his gun into the air, which made the people nearby panic and run away. Shortly after, Moreau got a report from a local saying they saw Gunner enter a church. Moreau headed to the church right away. Since Gunner was alone, Moreau decided to go in without a weapon while his men waited outside.
Been a long time, brother.
When Gunner saw Moreau come in unarmed, he removed his vest and weapon, standing up to face him. There, Moreau mentioned that it had been a long time since they last saw each other in Kandahar. He also said that Gunner had nowhere left to run and that everything would end here. According to Gunnar, Morel had kidnapped his nephew, and Gunnar was determined to finish him right then and there. Meanwhile, Gunnar's team arrived at their destination. El Guapo, who was injured, decided to stay behind and told the others to keep going to the meeting point by the river. At that time, Wes didn't want to leave him and asked him to come along, but Guapo insisted on staying, saying this was his home.
This is my home.
Then they said their goodbyes and continued on. As they got closer to the river, Roman and his men were waiting and started shooting at them.
Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not.
Shortly after, Gunnar arrived and met Guapo. Gunnar asked where the others were, and Guapo told him they were already waiting by the riverbank. Gunnar asked Guapo to come with him, but Guapo, still holding his wound, chose to stay behind.
Thank you.
Gunnar then left to meet the others by the riverbank. Once they were all together, they got on the boat and left Venezuela, heading towards a border. And the film ends.